name of the living God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. So this Sunday, I thought we'd do something different. Something we haven't done for some time. A different kind of sermon. An intergenerational sermon. An interactive sermon. A dialogue sermon. A question and answer sermon. A sermon in which everyone can participate and everyone is invited to help create this sermon. Are you okay with that? Willing to help? Okay, all right. So, question number 1. How many people know the game Blind Man's Bluff? Raise your hand. All right, I see some hands up. I see up some right. There's some hands that aren't up. Okay, so for those of you who know Blind Man's Bluff, how is the game played? It's not a trick question. So what's the first thing you do when you're playing Blind Man's Bluff?
You pick someone and blindfold them.
Put somebody in the blindfold. Remember that the person in the blindfold is it. It goes in the blindfold, and then what happens? Then you spin it around with the blindfold on, and then what happens?
Tries to catch somebody.
Tries to catch somebody. That's right. It's like putting on a blindfold and playing tag.
Maybe also make noises.
So, that's Blind Man's Bluff. Now, how about pin the tail on the donkey? How many people know pin the tail on the donkey? All right? How many people know pin the tail on Pikachu? I'm just telling you, that's the new name of the game. It's no longer pin the tail on the donkey, it's pin the tail on Pikachu. And how do you play pin the tail? What do you think, Nicholas? Put a blindfold on. Spin you around.
And then give you a tail.
Try to put the tail on the whatever. Pikachu, donkey. All right. So that's game number 2. Game number 3. Well, it's not really game. But how about piñata? Does everybody know what a piñata is? And yeah. So how do you do the piñata? What's the first thing you do?
Buy a piñata.
Put on the blindfold. What's the second thing you do? Spin around. What's the third thing you do? Get a stick. What's the fourth thing you do? Run away. This is a guy who can't see swinging a stick around. But the whole point of that is to what? Finally hit the piñata, and what comes out? Candy. Right. Okay. So, Blind Man's Bluff, pin the tail on the donkey, piñata. What do all these 3 games have in common?
Blindfold.
What do you think? That's right, Campbell. Blindfold. Put the blindfold on, become the it, spin the it around, and then things happen. So, when you're it, when you've got a blindfold on, and somebody spins you around, how do you feel? Dizzy? Other things? Confused? Disoriented? Lost? Scared? How about, do you feel capable, powerful? No, you feel helpless. It's really a terrible thing to be in. Because you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. You're completely at the mercy of everyone. And when someone's like that, blind, can't see, helpless, what do they need? What do you think? We're getting Grace?
They need help.
Exactly. They need help. Now, in gospel this morning, Jesus is talking with who? But before that, who's the first person he's talking to? Who's the other major figure in this story? The blind man. So Jesus is talking to the blind man. But you're right, Bobby. Jesus and the blind man are not the only figures, the only people in this story. Who are the other peoples in the story? And if you want, you can look in the bulletin. This is an open bulletin quiz. Other people in the story. Pharisees. Parents. That's right. The Pharisees, the Jews who are the rulers, right? There's another group, a couple other groups out there.
Neighbors.
The disciples, and then I heard another. Neighbors. So you got the disciples, you have the Pharisees, you have the parents, and you have the neighbors. And of all these people, which ones helped the blind man? None. None of them helped the blind man. How come? Why did nobody help the blind man? He was considered a sinner. Afraid.
He didn't know how to help.
Didn't know how to help. Didn't want to get involved. So what happened after the blind man was given his sight? What did all the neighbors and everybody say?
What happened?
What happened? Who is this guy? We don't know him. He keeps saying, I'm the man. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, they didn't even know who the blind man was. So, is it that they didn't help him because they didn't see him? Or was it that they didn't see him and didn't help him? Didn't help, didn't see. Well, let me come back to that. But Jesus, what did Jesus do with the blind? Washed his eyes. He healed him. He gave him his sight back. But he did more. Think about it. Some of the things he did that came on a little bit later in the story, after the blind man was thrown out. What happened?
He sought him out.
He sought him out. Jesus goes looking for the man that was blind. And when he finds him, what does he do? Gracie?
He doesn't make them blind anymore.
Doesn't make him blind. What does he tell him?
He tells him to wash your eyes out in the river.
Yeah, and then later on he says,
Do you believe?
do you believe? Do you know who you're talking to? And the point is, he is talking to the blind man. And the blind man is talking to him. It's the only time that people actually talk with the blind man. Everybody else is talking at him, talking about him. But Jesus and the blind man have a conversation. And the basis of that conversation becomes the basis of the man's faith, the basis of his healing. So, how do you think Jesus felt about the blind man?
Passion.
Compassion, caring, love. And so does Jesus help the blind man? Yes. Do you think Jesus sees the blind man? Because for Jesus, helping is seeing.